was at my parents' the other night and I told my dad, just to be funny how he'd react. I was like, I think I'm going to date women. And he was like, oh, all right.
Yeah, he's like,
but,
you have to process
you know,
it
we might give it a try. We never know.
Hey.
Okay, are we going?
I did a scary sigh. I go, did you hear it?
Oh my gosh. I'm really nervous. We have a special guest coming on
She's
tonight.
a big time guest.
Wait, do we need our headphones right now or no?
No.
Okay. We're just going to continue. You guys, we're trying to do a podcast a little differently today. We have a Zoom guest on a little bit later.
You're not going to believe we just had HelloTefi on the pod. If you don't know who she is, she's a huge deal. She is a wild boss-ass bitch who is self-made, you guys. She's a social media comedian and news personality. She has a pop culture show on YouTube called Tefi. She hosts a podcast. She's huge on TikTok. You likely know her from doing a read on a relationship, like a pop culture relationship. And she's a TEDx speaker called The Future of Confidence. So if you even listen to this pod, I suggest you go check her out on a platform or on her TEDx.
It's funny, when we originally were going to have her on, I was like, to be honest, like I didn't recognize the name. But if you guys go look up her Instagram or look her up right now, you will probably recognize her because she has so many TikToks that just went viral too.
Yeah.
But what a personality she is. We ended up talking a lot about toxicity, and honestly, like, this will hit home with a lot of you guys. So please stick around.
But
Confidence.
first, I have a few things to tell you.
We have a few little housekeeping that's actually really important. So stay tuned. Listen.
Big deal. Okay. This week, you guys, it's October 9th. So this Saturday morning at 9:30 a.m., Crispin Green, North Loop, we are hosting a workout. It's going to be Bring Your Own Mat, BYOM.
If you're local. Yes, please stop by.
Sign up in our bio. It's super simple. Exciting news is we will be selling our hoodies there if you have not heard already.
Yes.
Come
and I know
get a hoodie.
Some of y'all that don't live in Minneapolis are like, wait, what about us?
What about me?
Number one, we will say, like, locals, y'all get first dibs, baby.
Because we got them here physically.
Yeah, but also we are working on getting like a Shopify account up for you guys. And there will be plenty of merch in the future. So if you won't miss out, but we want to just inform you guys about that, why we're hitting that Minneapolis first.
Because we got them here.
We love you. We love you.
We love our locals, and we also love you if you're listening from across the world. So don't worry, we'll get you a hoodie. Just stay patient. We'll post it once the Shopify is live. I swear to you, we're actively working on it. It's just been quite a ride, okay? With the workout or straight candid workout this week, Crispin Green's giving away a free Aqua Fresca. Yeah. Aqua Fresca. The drink, if you come, and you can come at 10:30 if you don't want to do the workout, but I will say if you come to the workout, you get first dibs on the hoodies. Yes. So, and our number is already at 60 plus people. So I would suggest coming to the workout. Either way, we'd love to see you. Come see us. And Crispin Green will also be doing a giveaway, and it's going to be a hefty little gift card. So get ready.
Okay, so you know what? Last episode we talked about love languages?
Yes.
I figured out what my love language is.
What? You did?
Yeah, it's Apple Podcast reviews.
Oh,
did you like that?
Wait, what the fuck?
Wasn't that
I literally
good?
was like, oh my God, wait, what? I thought I already knew your love languages. That was bomb.
Thanks.
I had one too.
You had? Okay, will you read
do.
it? Because I started freaking out because I thought of that little intro part, but then I realized I didn't have a
You're like, wait a minute. Okay, so the one that I had is right here. Okay, so this person says, I'm a new listener and I just wanted to reach out and tell you how amazing you both are and what your podcast has done for me in such a short time. I started with episode 39 because I'm a huge advocate for women's reproductive health. I got hooked and now listen from episode 1 all the way through. I just recently finished episode 5 about anxiety. I've never related with someone as much as I related with Sid's anxiety type, even down to the plain anxiety. It was incredibly refreshing to know that I'm not alone in that sense. Listening to you talk is like sitting in a room with my two best friends. You both are incredible, and I hope you know that the impact your conversations on this podcast are having for people like me. Please keep doing what you're doing. We need to hear more from women like you. Okay, I'm gonna cry.
Oh, that was really
I'm like
sweet.
too emotional because this whole episode.
I know this episode. Y'all don't even know what's coming.
You don't even know what your ears are about to hear.
I'm not gonna. I was kind of nervous.
I know I was too. You guys, she's such a big deal, and she's so cool, and she's so full of knowledge, and the way she turned her life from something to this is just like in a non traditional way. It's she's just full of knowledge. We love you, Tefi. We love you more than you ever like literally even know.
We're gonna do our straight canon moments, but first, I have a little something for you guys. Autumn is in the air. The pumpkins are in the patch, and our friends at Manscaped are here to make sure your man doesn't carve his pants pumpkins when he's grooming, if you know what I'm saying. Make sure he's keeping things fresh this fall with the leaders in male grooming and their brand new 4th generation performance package. Ladies, do we really want to cuddle up with a dude who isn't trimmed? Get him to take the leap into fall Manscaped. Help him join the 2 million men worldwide using Manscaped by going to manscaped.com for 20% off plus free shipping with the code CANDID20. First off, the new Performance Package 4.0 includes the new lawnmower. If you're looking to cozy up with your man this fall, this trimmer is essential. Seal the deal with Manscaped's liquid formulations. The crop preserver, ball deodorant. Everyone knows pumpkin spice lattes and ball deodorant go hand in hand. Duh. Get 20% off plus free shipping with the code CANDID20 at manscaped.com. That's 20% off plus free shipping with the code CANDID20 at manscaped.com. Make sure his balls are fresh this fall with Manscaped.
God, you did a really good job.
Thanks, babe.
You're welcome.
I was trying to make it sound like a commercial at the end.
Oh my God, well, it did.
All right. What you got for straight canon moments this week, Sitifer?
So I thought I didn't have a straight canon moment, and I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. So, okay.
I haven't heard this.
I haven't heard this I haven't told you this because I didn't think I was going to tell it on the podcast, but here goes nothing, shall we? I was feeling fun and frisky, and I was up at a cabin this weekend, and I was missing the love of my life, Jordan.
Did you masturbate in a room full of girls?
No, my Lanta. She takes it to there. No, but I was like, okay, he's like at home and like, I'm feeling cute.
You probably had a little wine.
I had a little bit of wine in me, and so I went into the bathroom and I was like, okay,
Not like you.
I know.
I'm freaking out.
I know.
Okay,
I know.
Keep going.
No,
really
it gets
excited.
really good.
So this is sexy, Sid.
I know. So I was like, okay, wait, it'd be kind of cute if it had a filter on it. So I was like, oh yeah, like that'll be cute. So like I went on Instagram and was like, just gonna take the photo, save it, whatever.
Oh wait, is your shirt off?
Yeah, my shirt is off.
Okay.
So I'm a little topless. I didn't say that part, but I'm topless. I have a high pony. I look kind of cute, I thought. And I take the photo on Instagram and I save it. And
that's kind of ballsy.
It's ballsy because it accidentally posted a straight candid.
Wait, a nude? Can I see it? Show me.
No, I deleted it because I wanted to pretend like it never happened.
But did you say
I got it
phone?
down
Does Jordan have
within
it?
point. No,
Jordan!
no, because literally I had a panic attack in the bathroom. My cheeks were bright red. I started sweating profusely. I sweat through the gray shirt I was wearing.
You deleted it,
and I deleted it because I thought right then and there I was gonna die. I thought right then and there I was going to die.
Anyone saw it?
No one saw it because I literally was so quick with my little fingertips.
Hey, if
I
you're
waited when that little dot goes around. I'm like.
If you're listening and you saw it, please let us know.
I'm sweating. I have literally like crotch sweat marks
Wait, why
because
did you
I'm
save
so
it? I kind of want to
stressed.
see it, and then
I'll
could
take another for you safely within my camera roll.
Okay,
but
thanks.
that was the worst decision I think I've ever made in the entirety of me living on the planet. That was the worst thing I've ever done. And the best thing for that one person. No, I'm just kidding. I'm totally
that
kidding.
One person
anyway,
saw it. I know when it loads
it's here.
I know what you mean. Like if you post something and it's loading and it has that little white circle.
Your knees going and you're like, come on.
Oh my gosh. Sid, that is really good. That's my favorite one you've ever had.
Flash. Okay. Anywho.
Oh, I forgot my straight canon moment. That was too good.
Sorry.
Honestly, this past weekend was
something
a whirlwind for me.
Yeah,
was off the Instagram. Been having some situations.
You took a little break.
I took a little break, but I will say I don't know what exactly I'm going to end up talking about this whole situation, but for right now we're just going to not talk about it. But I was alone all weekend because I did work all weekend, and I just I had to wake up really early every day. You're going to laugh. I was in bed by 8:45. I woke up at 5 a.m. every single morning.
Look at you.
And today my body naturally, no alarm, woke up at 5:15. I had 8 hours of sleep.
You're absolutely crackers.
And I absolutely loved it. I had 3 hours before I had to do anything this morning. I drank my coffee. I got a lot of shit done. It was beautiful.
It sounds dreamy.
It was dreamy, but that wasn't my straight canon moment.
Can't do that,
I kind of rewinded and fast forwarded there. But my sister had me watch her dog.
And you love dogs.
No, my life has changed.
Oh, you did.
I'm not kidding. Like I was introduced to a dog not long ago, and I actually was like, realized that I'm not allergic, number one. Number two, I was alone all weekend, like I said.
Yeah.
And I had this dog that was like so excited to see me when I got home. I like had to care for it, and I had to like go outside and
hey, little
and
guy.
I noticed
you hungry?
Yeah, I would talk to this dog like 24/7.
It's like it's a pet thing.
And
like
I never thought I would say these words, but I texted my parents and I go, I think I might need a dog. And they're like, ha. Like everyone is just like, you guys, look at how far I've come.
You've come a long way, and it makes my heart like pitter patter because I never thought I never thought you'd be like that.
And I was even like in the park, and I would pretend it was my dog. There's other dogs in the park, and I'd be like, can he come? Can they come say hi?
Oh my God, you're such a parent.
And I was like the dog, and all of a sudden, all these people
a parent.
All these people in my apartment building. I'm in the elevator, and they're like, "Oh, do you live here?" I have I have the dog with me, and I go, "Yeah, you just haven't noticed me
because I haven't had a dog.
Now I have
yet.
a dog, and people are like talking to me now.
Well, now you're not gonna walk the dog, and they're gonna think you're like
I
housing
know.
it upstairs.
No one thought I lived there, and now everyone was paying
it's
attention
a conversation starter. It's like an intimidation factor people lean into.
And like the elders that live in my place, like they thought I was an Uber Eats delivery driver or some shit for the
with your dog. Oh,
but no, when I was by myself, like no one ever talked to me because I was young, and everyone. So anyways, okay, that was really long.
Wait, but
I kind of like dogs.
I'm
and
proud
I really
of
want
you.
a dog. I want a golden doodle.
Oh God,
but I also want to travel.
dog.
I want to travel and stuff yet. So I think it'll be a thing in like the future.
That's why I'm holding off. That's
Yeah.
why I'm holding off from dogs because I jump around way too much.
Once I'm like a little more like settled,
Then you'll get one.
Get a dog, yeah.
Yeah, I think so too.
But like I don't know where I'm
I'm
gonna end
proud
up
of
next
you.
year.
I'm proud of you. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. January, what?
Sid and I had definitely like a crazy moment. I'm like, we're moving. She's like, all right.
I go, where? Where are we going? I'm like, I'm ready. As long as it's West Coast, I'm rumbling. Let's do it.
Down.
Okay, without further ado, we want to introduce you to somebody very special. Tefi is coming on. She's here. She's ready for you. Please listen. Please take the time to get through this one. I just
start to finish.
I swear to you, the last words that she says will be probably the most important thing you'll ever hear in your entire life.
We all teared up. We all teared up a little bit.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Stick around.
So without further ado, Tefi.
Hey.
Woo! Oh my God, you're finally. Woo! Why do I have to do that every time? I woo every time I start a podcast.
I love it. Mm-hmm.
Welcome, Tefi. You are a freaking queen, a god, a literal pop culture goddess. I'm lifting you up. Do you feel lift up?
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Do you want to start by literally just introducing who you are? Because we introduced who you are before this, but like literally just behind all your work and like maybe say
how I see myself.
Yeah, how you see yourself. We'll see if it matches.
So I am I know it's unbelievable, but I am 31. So that's crazy. I know. I am a person who is a Cancer.
Oh,
Same.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize we had the same sign.
Yes. I love that I said that once on a date and he goes, don't say that about yourself. And I said, that's a zodiac sign, sir. Okay. So I am I am someone who loves pop culture. In my mother's words, I've never stopped talking, which is funny because my mom took me to the doctor when I was 3 years old because I hadn't spoken. And she's like, everybody else's babies are talking. Is she like mute? Is she something going on? Is she have a learning disability? And they're like, no, all her tests are normal. And little did she know, I was just saving my breath. So I'm from Miami. My mother's Colombian, my father's Brazilian. I moved to New York when I was 22. And I worked a lot of odd jobs. And in the meantime, I've never taken my eye off Britney Spears, not for 1 second, as guardian angels do.
Wait, we literally right before
1 second.
I
was late to take it. What? Say that?
Well, before we recorded, and sorry everyone, we're getting used to the Zoom lag too, but we were talking about Britney Spears documentary and how we need to watch it together.
Did you watch it?
Sweetheart.
Sweetheart.
Sweetheart. Angel. Brittany Jean. I used to go to Britney Spears concerts alone because I hated when people would talk to me during it. And I'd be like, what don't you understand? She's on the swing. She's about to sing every time. And here you are yapping in my ear about having to go pee. You should have peed before or worn a diaper. You're not doing this to me. I'll never, for my 21st birthday, I got VIP tickets to Britney Spears. Oh, it hurts to talk about. And she chose people to get on stage and dance with her. And it was the girl next to me. I have never been so brave. The way that I held in my tears, I have never in my life, but it was wonderful. And this couple behind me kept talking, and I was next to this couple, these two lovely ladies, and I was like, my eye was twitching. Who talks through toxic? Who speaks? Who talks? So I'm like, my eyes twitching, and all of a sudden I hear them go, excuse me, you're being very rude. And I was like this, like, yeah, you're being like, I just took it. So I love Britney. And you know who opened for her? The Pussycat Dolls. So
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I love this. This is everything. I feel that with the nails. I'm like, oh.
So that's who I am. That's who I am.
Well, that's why we want to have you on, because you're a fucking motherfucking queen. I'm not going to lie to you right now.
What got you into pop culture so much? Like, were you just always obsessed with it, or how, like, why are you such a pop culture fan? And like, how did that transpire into what you're doing now?
I think it was lonely. I think it was a lonely girl. Well, my mom says that I came out of the womb and I was like very much a people pleaser. And I think, honestly, when you're younger, my mom's calling me right now. No, Maria Jose, it's going to go on the computer. No. Okay. Sorry.
Wait, is that your cat?
Maria Jose is my mother.
I thought you were talking in the moment. Oh my God, I'm so dumb. I thought you were
my mother.
Walking
but I think, so I always wanted to, I think when you're younger, people are like, you have a lot of excess energy, you should work out more. But looking back, you're like, no, that was anxiety. So I always wanted to have like conversational starters or like things to talk about with people. So I used to divide it up into sections. So I knew that my mom loved Madonna and Pat Benatar and Stevie Nicks and like Boy George and like that kind. I knew that my grandfather loved Frank Sinatra, and there's a whole other culture, and Elvis and all these people. And then I knew that people my age or maybe a little bit older than me loved Nirvana. So I started to like really divide. So I'm the second cousin. Like I'm this, like there's one person ahead of me and she ahead of me. That's how I think. And she's 8 years older than me. So by default, she is the cool cousin. And if there's one thing that you want, it's the cool cousin to like you. So I remember that I remember that she loved these like girl bands in like Seattle. When I tell you I was huffing and puffing on the internet, I was like, but they were so underground. I still haven't cracked her, and she's 40 now. I still haven't cracked her code, but I love her.
But you're winning.
But it was yeah, exactly. I wanted to win her over. I wanted to be cool. She ruled Thanksgiving. She was the first granddaughter and the first cousin. I'll get over it.
At the kids' table. She got adults. Classic.
I'm still at the kids' table, ma'am. Yeah. I'm still at the kids' table. But I think like when I was in high school, I really like my anxiety like hit like a new level, and I started dating a very mean boy. And I think that people who are mean in high school are either born mean, like Chucky or Damien in The Omen. They just are. There is no way when I talked about it with my mom, because he isolated me in such a way that only like my mom, like if my mom and I were fighting, I had no one to text. Like that's I was like, Mom, please. Like so I think like when I talked about my mom, it was like Navy SEAL, like orcas, like circling the SEALs. Like he was like so it was like so like regimented and like strategy. So I was really, really isolated. So all I did was do his homework and watch VH1. Truly. I deserve that degree. That degree. It's a high school diploma. Yeah, that degree. And he was in the IB program. You know what? I hope they hear this. I did all his homework and I did my homework, and I only had AP classes. I had nothing else to do. You know, I was in AP Latin. Explain it to me. Why was I doing that? I passed it. But so, and
You
two
wanted to
brute,
do-
you know.
They always started it with like, if you do AP Latin, you'll really exceed in your reading. You'll really know the root of the term.
I dropped out freshman year, so that did me a lot of good.
I need to rewind a little bit.
Yeah.
So why did you do his homework? Like, was he so manipulative?
He was a bitch. He was so busy cheating on me.
Better to his homework.
He was what?
He was so busy cheating on me. I think that he was clocking in and out of work, and work was cheating on me. The man torture. I think honestly, I look back and I'm like, the way that he broke up with me on Friday and got back together with me on Monday was expert level mastery. He could sell water to a well. I hope he's in sales. He would kill it. But alas, I hear he's a receptionist somewhere and he has a rented Mercedes. So I hope it was worth it, Michael.
Worth it. Your degree that you didn't do and get. Yeah, I hope it was worth it, buddy.
But yeah, anyway, he gave me the gift of, in the Twilight Zone, where it's like one of the episodes where like all this guy wants to do is like read, but his wife is such a bitch and work is so intense and the world ends and he ends up somehow in like a bomb shelter and he can finally read and he has all the time to read, and as he picks up the book, the freaking glasses drop and crack and he can't read anymore. So he gave me the blessing of like time, like that dude, but the broken glasses was my confidence and my spirit. So that is like what I was doing. So I was watching. How old are you guys?
24,
26.
Yes, same. So anyway, I was staying up all night. I was staying up all night watching like I Love the 90s, VH1 Behind the Music, like all these things. I know so much about Axl Rose, and I couldn't put, like, the man has changed his face completely. I could not pick him out of a lineup, but I know so much about these like rock bands. Tommy Lee Jones, VH1 had no business showing us the Schmex tape with Pamela Anderson.
Mixtape.
When I tell you that should be illegal. Watching that, my pH is fucked up. Like, no. That sex tape is very, very intense. But I saw everything. I know how Pamela Anderson was discovered. She was at a football game and they put it on the jumbo screen. An agent ran over to where she was and offered her a contract. I've been to many games.
You're like, wait a minute, what about me? I'm over here.
I know. So I think I was just like watching that all the time. And then I was like preparing, which is pretty sad. I would like prepare for like the day that my boyfriend would like take me to a party and I would have things to talk about because I didn't have any friends at that time in my life. And then we broke up and finally I was unshackled and I got to go to these parties and I got to like talk about these things with people. And I saw the way that people like lit up. Like my grandfather and my mom definitely lit up when I talked about, like, I don't know, like Tony Bennett, but I was able to talk about Lindsay Lohan with people. And I love the way that people had a response to everything. But I also loved about pop culture that we weren't really talking about Lindsay Lohan. We were talking about what they thought. And it led me to know what they were like as a person, like their morals, their values, how they felt about women or mental health or slut shaming and things. You can really get to know a person when they're talking about other people. Gossip is good for you.
Interesting. Wow. Gossip is good for you. That's a hot take.
It is. The people who said that gossip is bad for you were the abusive husbands that didn't want their wives telling other people that they were beating the shit out of them. That's why gossip is frowned upon.
Wow. Because that's how the word spreads that you're doing something wrong. The only people.
Yeah, that's how people talk. And that's why we need what? Latinas. Exactly.
I have two oh my God, Latinian. I was about to say Latin girlfriends, and they're literally they are just like the sassiest, strongest women ever.
You're the joy of the world. I believe it.
I'm not kidding. I'm like, I want to be you. I want to be you.
I will say, like, I don't know much about pop culture. Like, Sid knows a lot more, but I did creep on your TikTok before this. Obviously that's how, like, so what made you decide to like start sharing this with TikTok, and how did that kind of go, like, evolve into what you're doing now? And what do you do now? Like, what is your job? Like, because we're in Minneapolis, like this is a very No, but it's true. Like you're kind of an entrepreneur. You do a few different things. And I feel like a lot of our listeners, it's a very small world, and we're curious like what other people do for a living and like what the other options are. And
okay, so 2019, in the beginning of 2019, I was a receptionist. I wasn't a receptionist. I was doing in New York, we have a bunch of like production studios, right? And like you might know Milk Studios, right? So we also have like Dune Studios and Sandbox. And I was working with those studios as their social media girl. And then I also was like head of culture, and then I was head of like client services. So basically client services was just standing at the desk and like welcoming people and really like schmoozing. And we had a 24-hour bar, which was excellent for that time. Well, it's like you would have like Gigi Hadid like got coffee next to me, like it was fantastic. And we would have like all these, you meet like really interesting, cool people. And something that I saw, the most successful people, like whether it be photography, stylists, whatever, hair, makeup, the most successful people that I saw over and over again, getting booked over and over again, were people who didn't give a shit about what the other people thought, because they were like, if you don't like it, you don't get it. And I don't want to be around people who don't fucking get it. And that was like a revolution for me mentally. So I started posting all the time on social media, like my Instagram stories, but I mean like every thought that came into my goldfish mind, I was like posting, and people started interacting with me more. And my followers went up by like 50, like whatever, like nothing crazy. But then I have a friend who knew somebody who was working in a startup as a producer, and they were looking for TV hosts. And she sent me the ad, and she was like, you can't seem to shut the fuck up ever. So you should, audition for this. I love her. Her name is Just Lee. I owe her my life. Like 500 people auditioned for this part, and they were like broadcast journalists and podcasters and stand-up comedians, and I got it. And I was like very much Pam in the office. I was like, oh my God. So I got that. It was fantastic. I could hire my best friend. They told me I could hire whoever I wanted, and I had no budget. The only thing is that like by a certain date, I had to have a certain amount of subscribers, and it was like 13,000 by like in 3 months. And in 3 months I had 100,000. So that was fantastic. The only thing is that pop culture. So when I was growing up, in the early 2000s, like I was a Juicy Couture wearing, Frappuccino drinking, little dog holing little bitch, right? So it was a very, very, very toxic time. It was a very toxic time. It was like drug addicted, anorexic, Lindsay Lohan at it again. She's gonna be dead soon. Like those were like real tabloid titles, which you would never fucking see today. No, ever. So those alone started those conversations, right? Like we weren't led to think like for ourselves. And I think today in pop culture, it's gotten to the place where like nobody has an opinion anymore. So I remember telling my team, like, I don't want this to be just about like shit talking. I don't want to punch down, So how can we make this about more than just pop culture? Like, how can we make this like something where we can like bring people together to like talk about things and share things? And if they disagree with me, we block them. Like, well, how do we do that? So like, the Corona happened and the show was canceled, but the people who own the show were like, this is your show. Like for us to keep it would be so terrible. And they sold it to me for $10. Angels. So Corona happened, and I had all of these things that I wanted to talk about. And I had already been posting like certain clips from my show to TikTok to drive people to the YouTube. And the show is still up, but it started gaining from there. And I saw that people started to request things, or people would be like, hey, how old are you? And they'd be like, that is so fucking rude. But people would be like, somebody would be like, hi, I know you don't know me, but what do you think about Justin and Haley? And I would say, he's so rude to her. And then the girl would say, well, my boyfriend slammed the door on me too. And I'd be like, let's fucking talk about it. So people are never asking about other people. They're really trying to gauge how you feel about what they're going through. So that's kind of like a maneuver that we use. Do you like that? Okay.
So they're using you basically to talk about their problems, almost as if like a therapist, and normalizing it by using pop culture to say,
and I'm not licensed, so I get a little nervous. Yeah. But I think tell me.
No, you're like, I can't help you.
Yeah, I think I just want to be the kind of person that I needed. It's not that I didn't have an amazing support system. I always did. It was me that chose to not include them, because I feel like if you're in a toxic situation, the moment you talk about it, people aren't going to want you to be with them. And that's the worst case scenario. You're not trying to figure out how to leave them. You're trying to figure out how to change them, especially when you're young. You're like, with arms wide open, like that kind of love.
Wait, why was that so good?
I've been Creed. Have you not seen Creed Super Bowl where they have the aerial dancers and he's shit-faced? Oh my God, there's so much. There's so much. He's like sweating drunk. He's like, whoa, like it's so good. It's so good.
Okay, so I do think just because our niche market, we talk a lot about relationships and toxicity in relationships. So back to like your high school toxic relationship. What was like the first point that you decided like I actually need to get out of this? And how did you go about that? And like also, how'd you meet your husband now or your fiance?
I ended my engagement, so that we're not going to talk about that. I ended my engagement.
That was very recent then.
Very recent, yeah. But everybody did think that we were married though, which worries me. I'm like, you don't think I would have posted 6 months of wedding photos?
You're a little confused then on my social media.
You wouldn't think I would do like a beautiful portrait, but that's separate. That's something. I just think that sometimes you have to love people enough to know that they are not fully loaded, or like they're not in a good place, and like in order for them to get to that good place, you can't be a part of their journey. But I talk to Jason all the time, and I love him very, very deeply, and I'll probably love him to the day I die. But that has nothing to do with like the toxicity of when you're younger and you're trying to get to that place where you can do that. You're trying to get to that place where you can say, I love you, but I love me more, and I don't want to have to go there with you. I will always be here for you though, but not like that, or you get to a place where saying like, if I were to stay with you, it would be detrimental to the man that you're supposed to become. It would be you wouldn't get there, So, but to get there, that took me 31 fucking years. Yeah. When I was 15, I would have been like, what do you need? Crack? What do you need? What do you need, meth? Like I would have done it for you, when you're younger, and I think you're insecure, which I think everybody is. Even Angelina Jolie's beautiful ass was like, I was ugly. I'm like, I will literally kill you, So everybody goes to the moment. I call it like an adolescent chicken, when the feathers aren't really there, you go through this like moment. Yeah. And that is like really a sensitive time in a young lady's life. But I had watched all this like Skins and like 13, no panties, no bra, no panty, Evan Rachel Wood. Yeah. I thought that was like, I couldn't wait to like be this like toxic, or like to meet this like love of my life. But in the movies, it works out. He changed. He's like, oh my God, I realized I can't be with you. I can't live without you, whatever. So I would never let go of men. I told people around me, like, I was a type of person that like, I would not leave the relationship unless the house was on fire, and the house being like the actual fucking relationship. Like I am the last one to go. I'm doing CPR. I'm tilting the chin up. I want to revive this, and I don't want to give up, because I feel like I can, like that Drake song, I can love you enough for the both of us. That's not what it is. That's not real. And I think that rule, when you're younger, treat people how you want to be treated. As young people, we're like, I'm going to show them, whether you realize it or not, I'm going to show them how I want to be loved. I'm going to lead by example. Yes. And they never meet you halfway. If anything, they start reclining back in their little arm, like the little old man recliner chair. They're so comfortable and cozy. We're like, okay, meet me 50-50. They're like, bitch, this is 90-10. We've been 90-10 for 4 years. So
you don't realize it's like too late. Like,
yeah, it's way too late.
You're over giving and they're just taking and retracting. It's like, and like what we, like our whole thing is like with relationships, especially, and like, that's why we're straight candid, is like, we talk about those hard fucking conversations of like how in your relationship, like in one of your most toxic relationship, how did you know that you needed to get out? Because you're saying you were giving and you were young. And like, how did you know you were going to get out? And then how did you do it? Like, how did you have it in you to do it?
Well, he punched me in the face. So That's what I'm saying. Like it gets to a point where the toxicity, you are no longer partners, you are prisoners together. And there's always going to be this dynamic. There's always somebody that has now knows what they need to do to get you to freak out, to ruin your day, to make sure that you are thinking about them all the time. And it's always performative. It's hardly ever like, if you were to call their bluff, usually the person that's like doing the toxicity, like the cheating or the lying or the staying out late, whatever, if you call them on their bluff, they usually crumble, but there's two roles now. There's the person that is always putting the relationship at risk. And then there's the forgiver. And both of you are proud about that. Both of you are feeding your egos in different ways. So you're like, oh my God, I'm so open-hearted. How could he do this to me? I'm so compassionate. And the other person is like, wow, I'm big and bad. I have this power. Right. And to turn those tables takes both people to say like, truth, it's not going to fucking happen, especially when you're young, especially when you both are fighting 24/7. And it starts with a little push. It starts with a shove. And then you're like, no. And then afterwards, it's like, he has anger issues and you can't talk about it to anybody because you love this person. And if you were to tell people, oh, he's starting to scare me, they'd be like, leave. And you'd be like, you don't understand. I've built this life around this person and we have plans, bitch. We all have plans. Classic. We all have plans. I'm planning to take a shower later. And if I do, I do. And if I don't, I definitely will. I definitely am going to shower. Okay. But, so it got to the place where if you're fighting constantly, I was with this person for nearly 10 years, which was such a fucking mistake. But I like to say I was with him for 10 years and he was with other people, but that's fine. It got to the place where I could not stand and this, when you want to break up with somebody, but you cannot stand the thought of them touching somebody else.
Yes. Like, oh my God, this is the most overwhelming thing.
You literally are like, you are literally the worst person in the entire fucking world. Your breath is now 10 times as worse as it's ever been for some fucking reason.
Everything you do bothers me.
The way he breathes, the way he would be snoring and I'd be like, all it takes is one, like all I have to do is just one, I want to fucking kill him, And then they do randomly they would do like this one nice thing and you'd be like, oh, and then you're like, you have the ick. You're like, shut the fuck up. You're so fucking annoying. So you want to break up with them, but you're like, the thought of them being turned on by somebody else or being nicer to somebody else. Like I put in this fucking work. I deserve some of the fucking payoff, but I can't fucking stand you. So it got to the point where we were drunk together. It was like a New Year's. And it's one of the reasons I left Miami. Somebody that I was with said, what were you doing last weekend? And I was there like standing next to him and I was like drinking. I was like 20. Yeah, I was 22. And they were like, oh, I was out of town. And they're like, what are you talking about? I saw you with this girl. And I went like this.
Oh,
what was that?
And he knew. Sorry, I think I'm having a fucking stroke. So, and I had already taken him back so many times to the point where it wasn't even like open-heartedness. It was like martyrdom. It was like it wasn't even giving me anything. It was just like, now I was starting to be like, I'm embarrassed by you. People feel bad for me, like all this crazy shit. Right. So then I remember when I looked at him and I was like, and I went insane and he didn't know what to say. So he just like, and I said, you know what? I'm done. And I never said that before.
Yeah.
I'm done. I'm super done. That's one thing. Men like Adam and Marcus. I'm just kidding. Men
called out. They're laughing.
That was a good memory.
Men will say things to try to turn back the table, right? So like if they get caught, somehow, some way you end up apologizing. They always find a fucking way, but if they can't find that fucking Tetris happening, the panic starts. So he was like, oh, you're going to leave? Fine, fucking leave them. I'd be like, yeah, I'm fucking going. I'm leaving. And then he started for the first time, I remember I was like relishing in it for like 5 seconds. I was like, oh, I thought we were big and bad, but we're scared now. And people always try to call my bluff. I'm like, I mean what I say and I say what I mean. If I'm telling them I'm fucking leaving, I'm fucking leaving. So the Miami popped out.
Oh, yes, it did.
So then I remember I was like about to get in my car and he like turn me around. And he's like, oh, that's it, you're fucking done. And I'm like, yeah, I'm fucking done. And I went like this, get away from me, because he was like, you know what you think someone's gonna hit you? And they're like nose to nose. And I'm like, I am not in UFC PR press kit meeting. Like, I don't understand what you're doing right now. And he just went, and I think he like freaked the fuck out, because then I started screaming and then he tried to take me down. And I remember afterwards, it happened in like 4, 5, 6 seconds tops. For me, it was half an hour. But I remember thinking, he's going to fucking kill me. He's going to fucking kill me. And then my friend's parents came out of the house, because we were parked outside the house, and he ran off. And I started immediately, I told him what happened. I was like, oh my God, he fucking hit me. He hit me. He like, it was like, you were like stung by a bee or something. Like, I can't believe, or like one of those things where you're like, I can't believe this is fucking happening to me. Like when your car stops on the fucking freeway and you're like, this cannot be me. Like you're like living. So you're one of those things.
Watching
so,
it happen from above.
Oh, like you have to say it, you know, or else it's like, but I remember,
because it can't be real.
Immediately the next day I woke up, like the 1st of January, whatever. Immediately I woke up and people were like, oh, he's telling everybody that you're crazy and a liar and you think he hit you. And I was like, the PR. He was trying to beat me to the chase.
Oh, he's a
He was like, Tefi's crazy, she's losing it. Yeah.
If
fuck that motherfucker.
Guys that call girls psychos or like crazy or make you feel crazy, I think innately it's the other way around.
I always ask, what did you do to make her crazy? Because it's like,
or
she's crazy. Okay, what did you do?
Or why won't you just fucking tell her? So a lot of the time people are like, she's so crazy, she's following me everywhere. I was like, have you told her that you don't like her? No, because you fucking like it. Because you fucking like it. You're using this girl to mop up the ego that you like have laying around. Like, oh, well, I can always call Katie.
I was going to say, it's the string along so that you always have somebody to fall back on, because really you're insecure and you're afraid of being alone. So you're just stringing this little person on and pretending like you don't like them to everybody else, but to them, you're feeding them just enough bread, just enough breadcrumb to know where you're going to come along with you.
You know what? Women love a toxic man, to the point where I love this. I've always talked about this. I will never forget. I was telling people what happened to me, and women that like when they had French class together, like in high school, they'd be like, he wouldn't do that. He's so nice. Oh, you know him. I didn't know you knew him like that, because I dated him for 9 years. You must know him. Quickly, what's his middle name? You must know him so well. You're right. I'm a liar. Like the way that people, especially women, will be like, that's not true.
And that's the exact opposite of what women need to be doing, because that's feeding them even more. And it's like, they need to believe the female first, especially when it comes to toxicity like this. Like, God damn.
Or it'll literally turn into like a, what did you like? Well, oh my God, I can't believe you did that. Like, what did you do? Like, you must have done
why didn't you just walk away? Bitch, I was literally walking to my Honda Civic. What do you want from me? Like, or when people are like, God, that doesn't seem like him. Oh yeah, you don't think he would hit somebody in 5th grade period French? That's really that's crazy of him. Yeah, I guess so. Like, shut the fuck up. Yeah. But I feel like with women, especially, they're like, they really want to be, they're obsessed with, like, some women are obsessed with being like a guy's girl. Why the fuck would you want to be a guy's girl?
Oh yeah.
Oh, what the fuck are you guys going to talk about? Call your dad. Like, enough.
The girls that drink beer at like a tailgate just to be cool and drink beer, even though really they hate beer.
I had girls in high school that knew they were like trying to be best friends with my toxic ex. And then I was like, and he dumped me. And they were like my good friend. And I'm like, did you know that he was
Tyler's having a party?
No, literally. And they go, oh yeah, sorry, I didn't know how to tell you he's gonna dump you. I literally fuck you. What?
I'm gonna say this. I
like, oh my God.
I love all women, and you are welcome to join us on the other side, but you got to take the red pill, babe. Yeah. People don't give a fuck about you. Are you crazy? Like, so I'm not saying that all dudes are bad dudes, but no woman can be the kind of friend that a woman would be to a woman. I'm sorry.
No, I know.
I'm not saying all men. We just don't know which men. That's really it.
I I love that. Can I ask you a question about this relationship? Because it's
Yes.
actually important. Did you know when you should have left? Can you pinpoint a time like way back when you should have?
At least 4 times a year. Like you know in your gut when you are the one pushing the cart, like you know that if you know in your relationship that if you completely let go, that your relationship would fall apart, you know it's not for you. There is no way in any time of the relationship that you feel like if you have to tap out, that person would tap in. If you know that if you were not the one keeping up, like fucking Christina Hendricks and Mad Men, like following around, like you know that.
Oh, jeez.
Like, please.
I wish I could put more of them, but I got that one.
No, I love it.
But the thing is, the more that women talk about it, I feel the same way about everything that women go through. There's like a lot of things that are very normal to me. And then I talk about them and people are like, wow, you're so brave for talking about that. I'm like, the fuck are you talking about? Like when it comes to like, health, when it comes to dating, when it comes to violence or things that we've witnessed, or even like the way that, you have to explain what sexual harassment is to some women, because to them, they just think that's normal. They just think that's normal. I'm like, that's not right. That's not right that person said that to you, you know, or the person treats you like that. It's not normal. And they're like, you're saying that's wrong. And I'm like, yes, like, you know? So the more that you talk about it, like one of my friends is going through, she's a miscarriage, and she makes it a point to talk about it because she got so much when she was talking about getting pregnant, a lot of her friends talked about having a miscarriage, and she was like, none of you have ever talked about it. Like none of you have ever talked about it. It's something so normal, you know? So I feel like there's a lot of issues. Shame breeds in the dark, you know, like if you talk about things, there's no way those things can multiply and keep you down.
I love that. That's the whole point of our podcast too, is literally just the fact of like normalizing conversations. And I knew that you were in a toxic relationship, but I didn't know to what extent.
Yeah. Wow.
And that person literally beat you and pummeled you into the ground, quite literally. And I'm using it figuratively, but how do you come back? How do you come back from that? Because you did, and you're here and you're confident as a motherfucker. And like, how do you go from that, heal, and become who you are right now?
It's funny because I think that life teaches you everything that you need to learn. I don't think I've ever been in a relationship that is not toxic, but it's these different levels of toxicity, but all of them were up to me. So the moment you think, if I just hang out with him one more time, he'll like me, you're already on a bad path.
Yeah.
That feeling of proving yourself, that means that if you hang out with him one more time, you could maybe package yourself a little nicer. That's it. That's when you know. So, but I've had those situations in every relationship I've ever been in. But with this last one, I love him so much. Like he really, really helped me empower me, and he let me take the lead. Because he wasn't like threatened by it or whatever, or he wasn't scared that if I tapped into like my power that I would take advantage of him. He really trusted me to take the lead, and I really, really appreciate that. But he also, in that way, I was able to see a relationship from the other side and take care of somebody, you know? Yeah. So being able to see that on the other side, I was able to say like, oh, we can't do this anymore. Seeing somebody on that side, like being on that other side, not the side where you're in a relationship with a nice guy and you don't like him, but you're trying to like him because like, fuck, I never date a nice guy and I'm not attracted to him and I have to be drunk to fuck him. That is not the other side.
I was going to say,
that's what I'm talking about.
I'm like fucking snapping over here because people think they've got to go there. That's what it's going to take.
No.
It doesn't take that. You can't.
No. I think it's just a lot of the times in toxic
nice guys.
What?
We're the hot, nice guys.
Oh, baby.
I was just telling Sid, I was like, we need to get out of Minneapolis.
I think there is a person that commented on my TikTok that has ruined my life, and she has no idea. She said, men cheat according to their access to women. And now I'm like, where the librarians at?
Where's Herman at? All of a sudden, the guy who lives in his mom's basement is very enticing.
those dudes hate women too.
I know. I was gonna
So
say,
I'm just like,
struggle.
I think a lot of the times too, we're like, so for me, especially, I try all the time to be the wife, the slut, the mistress, the nurse, the therapist, the girlfriend, the travel buddy, you know what I mean? Like the fucking maid, all of it, the chef, the this, the that, the hairstylist, the facialist. I try to be all these things for this person. And if they do not like themselves or love themselves or in a position where they can face themselves and the kind of man that they are, it does not fucking matter. It does not fucking matter. You cannot reach somebody who has their back turned to you. It will never work. So you have to face yourself and be like, I really like the person that I think he could become, but he's not there yet. So why am I going to wait for a man to load?
You
know?
60%.
So
not when he's 80, not when he's at 95.
We should date women.
That's what
I was
coming down to.
I was at my parents the other night and I told my dad, just to be funny how he'd react. I was like, I think I'm gonna date women. And he was like,
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, he's like,
But,
the process.
you know, we might give it a try. We never know.
Why? I have a question for you about relationships.
Tell me.
Why do we crave toxic relationships? And then we want to really read a straight candid moment to you. But why is that?
We crave toxicity because I think in small lives, small things feel big. And we feel like we're waiting for life to start and we're waiting for somebody else's permission, you know? So I feel like we're waiting for this like story. We're waiting for this story of, you know, finding one another. But it's just not, that's just not the, you have to, if you want somebody to love like you have to see what kind of love they know. And a lot of the times when we reach out to people and we want to feel understood or we want to take care of somebody, they don't come from places like we do. Like, I'm not saying that they have to come from Leave It to Beaver, but there are some places in other people's lives that we will never know what that's like. And it's up to them to let us in. So we want this story and we want to knock on the door and we want to be let in. We want to feel special and we see the potential there, but they don't see the potential that they have. So one of us is an artist and the other one is sitting down, lying down while you paint the whole picture. And we love that. I don't know why, but we do. I don't know half as many men that love toxic relationships as women, but unfortunately, you have to go through them so you can recognize them.
Yes. Yes. So it's like a basic.
You never have to do it again.
I was gonna say it's okay that you're in that one. It's a good thing to get out. And now you know that you don't have to ever do it again. And that's what we all kind of have to do. I mean, if you're lucky, if you're in that 1% that doesn't have to, but it's learning.
Yeah,
you know,
I think that when people think of toxic relationships, they think of Rihanna, like just gonna stand. No, toxic relationships are also, you've been dating him for a year and a half and he's not calling you his fucking girlfriend. So so every time he knows that when he hangs out with you, you're going to be on your best fucking behavior because you want the title. So he doesn't even fucking know you yet until you explode because you had to take so much bullshit and then now you're crazy. So you have to sit there sitting in, that's toxicity. Anytime that you feel like you have to hold back a little bit because once he loves you, you can be yourself. Oh my God. I have been there. So I'm saying you should dump him.
Yeah, literally. Well, God, this is all way too relatable.
I will say there's so many listeners right now that like, this is probably like, because our last episode, we just talked about feeling inferior in a relationship and like how to deal with that. So this just goes hand in hand with kind of what we just talked about. And we had so many people reach out our last episode saying that it helped them. So I can't even imagine after people listen to this episode with the shit you just dropped, I think it was so helpful. Yeah. I do have one more question before we read our straight canon moments, which is just a funny listener story. We'll get your take on it. My last question for you is, what would you tell your 20-year-old self that was maybe in that toxic
or anything to build the confidence back up?
Like your one piece of advice.
Because you're a confident motherfucker right now and you're making decisions for you.
I would tell my 20-year-old self when it came to confidence in a relationship, which is, it's really easy to talk to strangers It's really hard to talk to somebody that you want to love you. That's really hard. I would say you're young. You and this person don't have any real financial issues. You don't have children. Your parents are healthy. No one is sick. You know, there are no emergencies. This should be the easiest time in your relationship. This should be the easiest time. There are no real issues. All you have to do is figure out how to talk to one another, and that should be fun. That should be fun. And if you're not having a good time already, then what kind of person are you dealing with? If you're hanging out with somebody that isn't even fun to talk to get to know, and instead is leaving you feeling confused, then what the fuck are you doing? I wasted my hot years. Oh my God, bitches, the way I used to have abs, and I wasted them on a man that has ankles. It looked like he was rooted into the ground, this canker. I can't even tell you.
The fucking ankles.
An oak tree of a man.
Rooted into the ground. I'm fucking Do not. The relationships are to make your life easier and to be enjoyed. This idea of like pain that you see on TV, like pain is coming within life. Suffering is within life, no matter how you cut it. Like something is going to happen. People age, health, all of that happens. Heartbreak happens, not just with your partner. Your children break your heart. Your coworkers break your heart. Your friends break your heart. These things are coming. So you're going in a life full of uncertainty. Why add one more person that is uncertain of you? Like that is to me madness. But I'm 31. So if I was 22, I would right now like close the podcast. I'd be like, no, like that's not for me. So wow. No, that
very
you have no idea how many people need to hear this right now, and how many women and men like listening right now to our podcast, whoever's ear this is in, needed to hear that to take the fucking step.
Yeah.
To forward. There are people in this room that needed to hear that, likely. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, it's hearing it, especially from you, and you're like, I'm 31. It's like, no, you're just a few years ahead of me right now. And it's like, I needed to fucking hear that too, you know? So it's just like,
what's Marcus going through? What's he going through?
Marcus is actually in the happiest relationship of ever. How many years? 8?
We just had our 4-year anniversary.
4 years. I said 8.
You should have the boys on and talk about, I feel like everybody thinks that's like, this one girl is going to like change this man. And it's like never fucking true, ever.
Yeah.
It's just like kind of, it's really about like timing and like honestly, like confidence.
I know.
Like how much you're willing to share with somebody, you know. Tell them, Adam.
We're gonna bring on the men and do it one time.
Yeah, I was gonna say it is nice to get a guy's perspective. Like it'd be really cool to have a nice, like I will say Adam and Marcus are the
nicest
out of all, you know, we're talking about men and like hating men, but like Tefi said, it's like we know this isn't all men, but a lot of times girls get caught up in this shit, and then this is all we see. So it's hard because
and it's the ones that we pay attention to sometimes.
Yeah,
I think good men, like people, everybody has problems, but they don't make it your problem, or they don't give you trauma that you never needed in the first place. So like that man, that boy that I dated, he never had to give me those issues. He could have easily said, you know, like, this isn't working. He knew that I was suffering. He didn't have to put his hands on me. That was an issue that that's a lesson I probably never needed to learn. He could have saved me that lesson, you know? So I think when it comes to a good man or a good person, your traumas are not my responsibility, you know? So
it's not your job to fix your,
no.
You're so insightful. Like we knew
I'm a Cancer.
You're a Cancer, and that's why. So there, we knew you were gonna bring like insight too, and like about pop culture and all these other pieces and how you got there and how you brought yourself up. But like we dove deep in that relationship piece. And it feels good.
Yeah, I think that'll hit home with our listeners for sure.
It does.
What also hits home with our listeners every week is we have our listeners write in a funny little story. We call them straight cannon moments because it's just like a moment where you feel like you can laugh at yourself.
Probably like an idiot or something.
So we usually read it with the guests just because we like to hear your reaction too. And we have a follow-up question for you about this one. So someone wrote in and said, straight cannon moments presented by Bud Light Seltzer. I've got a very fast digestive system. So fast that avoiding pooping in public places just isn't an option for me. If you're wondering, we talk about poop a lot in the podcast.
Like a lot. Like
Girls
normal.
poop.
Because it's candid. We have buttholes and we poop. All right.
Mhm.
I'm talking like 4 to 5 times a day type of poop situation.
Oh, that's
Time I
amazing.
got a ride home from some friends and I really had to go. On the ride home, all I could think about was how I was going to bolt to the bathroom when I got home. At the time, I was living at my parents' home in between college summers. My friends dropped me off and they waited for me to let them know I got in all right. The door was locked, which was very rare. So I went to our garage to search for the key. I couldn't remember where we kept it, and the urge to go got stronger and stronger. As I searched hard, I realized that there
Jesus.
wasn't going to be any more time. I quickly found some newspaper, laid it down on the ground, and squatted. Yikes. The whole time I was panicking that my friends who dropped me off would come in to check on me. Immediately after, my brain regained clarity and I found the key within seconds.
Oh God.
Does post-poop clarity resemble post-nut clarity? I have told a few friends this story and many of them tell me they think about it often whenever they need a little laugh in their day. P.S. If you're wondering, I dumped the poop in the toilet once I got inside. Straight candid story. Ew.
She shit in the garage like a dog.
She literally
Yeah, like a
shat,
dog.
like on like a baby, like a
Newspaper.
puppy pad.
On newspaper like a puppy.
Post-poop clarity, though, I actually relate to.
I'm like, oh, I've told you one time, I said, I don't really like, my mind isn't really working today. And I said, I haven't pooped yet. And then I went to the bathroom and I was like
All of a sudden you
alive.
had ideas.
I was like, I was thriving.
There,
Fine.
I love that she says fast digestive system. Baby, you have IBS.
Who's
You
gonna
don't
tell
have a fast digestive system? Like you
So
have
true.
you have an allergy or a sensitive stomach. Like you need to really look at your diet and there is no way
You think 4
that you
times
told
is
it
too much?
what? No, that's great, but there's no way that you have to shit on the floor. There's no way. There's no way.
Okay,
I
Tess,
understand having.
Have you ever had your craziest poop story? Share it with us.
Do you have one?
Come on, you
I
had
had
one.
an
Let's have a laugh.
She's like, no,
I
I
had an
don't.
anxiety attack on the highway because people in Miami, they'll roll down their windows and they'll be like, fuck. So I did something, I think I cut somebody off and I was already having an anxiety attack and I could feel it. It starts in my tongue. Like I can feel the tingling in my tongue and I'm like, no.
Oh,
And it was before like I'd acquired these like tools, the tools, like the breathing, whatever. I like to think also like it's 8 to 15 minutes. So like that time like gives me clarity so I can like pull over and be like, if it's more than 15 minutes, then that's you doing it, So before I had all of that, I had such a bad anxiety attack and I shit my pants.
no.
On the highway.
I was 21, I think. I was an adult. So I park and I call my brother inside. My brother's 6 years younger than me. So 21 minus 6 is math. Anyway, so I like call him and I'm like, I need you to bring out like a beach towel. We have like a million of them. They're all Disney themed, of course, because we grew up in Florida. And he was like, which one? I'm like, anything but the Little Mermaid one, because that's my favorite one. And he comes out and I'm just like, hold it out like long ways. And he comes out and he's like so confused. And he gets into the car. He's like looking at the car. He's like, what's going on? And he like drops a towel. I'm fucking sobbing. I'm like, you have to hold the towel up. He's like, fuck this. And he says to this day, like, he cannot believe that I made a paper towel on his shitty sister.
He had to help his sister who shit her pants.
Oh
in the
my
car.
gosh. Thank you for
My
sharing
sister-
straight candid
You're
moments.
welcome.
That's scary. And yet I can't say I haven't done it.
Yeah.
Siblings just have seen so much.
They've
We've
seen the worst.
Like I feel for my sister.
Yeah, wow.
She's seen me. That's for another time. That's for another time.
That's for another.
Okay. We also do. You don't want to do this one?
No, I think we shouldn't.
Really? Okay. Yeah. We'll wait for this one actually, because I have like
We're over on time.
one
already.
final question.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking over at my sheet because I wrote like 4 down and I'm trying to decide right now, like right in this. Okay. So before you came on, before all of this, I was looking into your TED Talk and looking into other things that you've written in your blogs and all these things. And I read that you imagined the woman you wanted to be every single day.
Oh yeah.
Is this something that you suggest women do? Is this a tool that we should be doing? Is this something that got you somewhere? Like, should we be doing this?
I don't know if I do it every single day. But I definitely, how do I say it? So if you imagine your best self, I'm going to cry. If you imagine your best self, that's also a woman that cheers you on. So when you aren't feeling your best, your best self would look at you and be like, you deserve to have a good day, you know, or this isn't true. You're being too hard on yourself. So imagining your best self is also imagining, you know, the kind of woman that you want to be, the kind of mom that you want to be, or friend or aunt or whatever. And so as long as you're pretending to be her, what's the difference? You know, what's the difference? You're already, if the person that you want to be wakes up and meditates and goes for a run, comes back, has a balanced lunch, whatever that is to you, and has moments of gratitude and, you know, calls her mom at night and writes in her journal and goes to sleep. If you're doing that, I guess you're already her. So that to me, but I also feel like she's someone who I can say I'm having a bad day and she's like, then relax, then chill. Then you can do it again tomorrow. You can try again, you know? Or she's also someone that's like, you're making excuses, you know? So it's a person that holds you accountable and that really loves you. But it's also, if you want to be a certain person, you need to figure out the person that's going to take you there. And if you want to be like that, if you're willing to do that work. And if you are, you've already, it's 80% of the job is just showing up.
Yeah.
You know?
God, I love that.
Wow.
I
Good
love
question.
that. I had to because I felt something with it.
Yeah.
And when I saw that question, I was like, I stopped the blog and I was like, I'm not going to even read it. I want to ask and have it come from your mouth. And because I want to know
That's
from
amazing.
you.
I got a little emotional there too. That was
that was heavy.
Very
That
meaningful.
made my heart like,
Thank
Ooh.
you.
We all just want to be brave. We all want to be brave to ask for what we want. That's the root of everything. And the moment you do, it's like, you know, when you're breaking up with somebody, you're like, I cannot believe I'm saying these words. Like you have an out of body experience. The moment you start saying it, it gets more comfortable in your mouth.
Yeah. You have to start saying it
out of your mouth.
Yeah, you're like, in it.
You have to start living the way that you want to live. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever that means. Yeah. Whatever that means.
I love that. You have been
Amazing.
more than amazing. I'm doing
Oh,
this.
you.
I know.
Okay,
We have the Tefi hands going on now.
We have to wrap because we're going over time, but I have to, this is one thing I said in the last episode. What do you think about Bennifer and Bennifer? Not long-winded because I'm like,
I don't care if it's fake. I love it. I like seeing people do kissing. I love seeing people laugh together. I don't care if it's fake. If it's fake, I love the show. I can't wait for the next season. If it's fake, I love it. If it's real, I love it. Seeing people in love has never pissed me off. You know?
You love Bennifer, but do you love Ben?
Of course I fucking love Ben.
Ah,
My Boston baby.
I know.
Of course it pisses me off. Of course it pisses me off. I think there's something to be admired about him. He might fall off the wagon, but he always gets back on. And I think that's a really brave thing to do. I think he's doing the best that he fucking can. And he has definitely been toxic in his youth. So the fuck have I. But I think living with an addiction and being in the public eye and divorcing in the public eye and being a creator and like a director and a father is really difficult. And I think that he found love with a person later on in life, and he has every right to walk around Central Park and smoke a fucking cigarette.
Oh sheesh! I just
you got served.
I got my opinion. I just got my opinion squashed because you just flipped it.
Yeah,
because you did.
No, but he's also an ass. You know, he's also an ass.
My opinion used to be that he was exactly the character he played in like Gone Girl, that like didn't give a fuck about his life.
I can see that. I can totally see that.
Like, you know, he cheated on Jennifer.
But did we know he had an addictive?
No, I did not. I did not have I didn't know he had any addictive issues. But yeah, because that's who he played who he was, I thought. But you know what?
He's an alcoholic. But you know what killed me?
What?
He cheated on Jennifer Garner so much. And every time he has to go to rehab, who picks him up and drops him off?
That's why that hurts.
That's the mother of your kids. You do that for the father of your kids, you know?
Of course you would, and she's like an angel sent from above. So, oh my God,
you guys need to do something when we hang up. When we hang up, you have to look at Jennifer Garner and Ben Affleck and the World Series and Red Sox. I need to see the way that woman looks at that man.
I know what picture. I know what picture you're talking about. I know exactly.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay, everybody go look at that right now if you're
All right,
listening
let's
right
do
now.
That's a good.
We love you. We
I
respect
love you back.
You're a fucking queen. The fact that you took the time to come on our platform is a
Yes.
really, really big deal to us. Like, I hope you know that. And I hope you know that like every single person was like messaging us and they're like, Teffy's
No
going on, no
way.
way. And
Yeah.
of course, Instagram is down
Yay!
that we're having you on. And we're like, God dang it. So just know you're loved. You're loved by our people. You're about to have a lot of new people on your sheet.
Give yourself a little shout out too. Where can people find you?
Yeah, we're
In your dreams. No, you can find me on HelloTefi, TEFI on Instagram and TikToker and the Twitter. And yeah, and if you're cute, DM me, like whatever. I won't answer, but I'd like to know that what you think.
And if you need to find us, you guys know where to find us at Straight Candid Podcast on Instagram. You know what to do. Check out our TikTok. We're on there. We're running around. We're seeing crazy shit. So go find it. Teffy, thank you for being here.
Thanks, Teffy.
We will talk to you very, very
Thank
soon.
you.
After for this, but I can't wait to hear the feedback.
I can't wait either. Only the good stuff.
Thank you for opening up.
Thanks, babe.
Of course. I will see you guys later. Yes. Kisses.
Kisses.
Bye, Marcus. Bye, Adam.
Bye.
Oh,
she is so amazing.
she's a sweetie. That I was like, we just said
That was
30
so
minutes and it ended
good.
up being 60. So
I know.
was like, we
That's
have
okay.
to-
That's okay.
Oh, she was amazing.
She was so good. She was so good. Okay. Wow.
Wow.
Hey.